The Uzbek people, they say all sorts of things. They say, if you're going to die, let it be from eating plov. If you're poor, you eat plov sometimes. If you're rich, you always eat only plov. Today I want to show you a very rich plov, an incredibly rich plov. This kind of plov was made in Margilan, a trading city. There were quite a few people with money there. But you know, we drove Zaporozhet's cars and tried not to attract attention. Attention! Did they eat? They ate very well. These are fatty trimmings from very premium beef, literally marbled beef, but there's so much fat where, in what dish should I put it? I'll add a bit of fresh lamb and together it will make an excellent mince. You might ask, what does mince meat have to do with this? And what does it have to do with pilaf? Don't rush, you'll find out everything in a moment. There's a lot of meat, a decent amount of onion, not too much. Obviously, there will be some mince left over. Having mince at home is good because in a proper household there should always be some preparations. Broth, ready-made mince to make chebureki or similar. Here's korma, which I showed recently, and now I'll show how to use it in pilaf. Well, let's start with the mince. That's it. Sold the mince right away. There was at least 1.3 kg of meat here. Add at least a tablespoon of pepper right away. And mix everything thoroughly. Today I'll need about 700 grams of mince at most. As for the rest, chill it in bags, vacuum seal it and put it in the freezer. The mince keeps perfectly. Just look at this rice. This is a masterpiece of rice. You know, like a very expensive French cognac, like some very fine wine. This rice is called dostasarek, and it is grown only in Uzgen. And for the poo that I'm planning to make today, probably only this kind of rice will do. If you think I'm showing you something new today, not at all. Here is my very first book, published at the dawn 19 years ago. The network is written 25 years ago. Even back then, I was already talking about this rice. Here it is, dostasarek. This book describes all the varieties of rice that are suitable for pilaf. And the recipe for this pilaf is also included in this book. Here it is, pilaf with dolna in the Margilan style. You know, these days they are starting to print an entirely new third edition of this book. I redid a lot, retook many photographs and rewrote many recipes. I added new recipes and removed the unsuitable ones. But I kept this Margilan style pilaf with dolma in the new book because I personally love this pilaf very much. And by chance, this recipe also made it into the book Pilaf, a culinary investigation. A new, fully updated edition is coming out. 240 or 440 pages in the new book are completely new photographs, texts, everything. So where do we start? You need to start with the leaves, guys. Grape leaves are sold in canned jars, in plastic bottles, as if dried. They're good quality leaves, go ahead and buy them. But as for me, you see, my relatives brought these from Ashgabat. They picked them from the vineyard that's a type of white grape. It usually produces rather thin leaves, but that's not very important here because this is not dolma in its classic form. The way it's made in Azerbaijan, in Iran, in Turkey, and by some other peoples of the Caucasus, the inventors of the wheel, democracy, fire and water. First you need to soak the leaves in boiling water. They should change color and become more pliable. I've probably said it 1,000 times. You need to soak the rice first. With salt, look how much salt I'm using. There are just 2 cubes here. And the water here is about 70, maybe 80 degrees Celsius. It's nice in Margilan. You drive along the road, and along the road there are butcher stalls. And at every butcher's, besides the meat, there's a garland of dolma like this hanging. They call it kovatok in Uzbek. Look, to make good dolma, you need to lay out the leaves properly. You have to put the glossy side down and the rough bottom side up. It's probably the butcher's daughters who make them. They have slender fingers, suited for delicate and repetitive work. Now, put a good teaspoon of filling on each leaf. Well, just look for yourself. If the leaf is smaller, then use less filling. And if you get a good big leaf, then use more filling. Now I want to show you how to wrap dolma. There's nothing complicated about it. Take a look. It's like a hand with 5 fingers. The leaf looks like 5 fingers. One finger, another, index, ring finger, and this one on top. Counting carefully. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now with all the steps completed, we have a perfectly finished little dolma ready to enjoy. Some people, like to act smart and write to me, so how is this dolma different from dumplings? Well, the difference is that you can cook a grape leaf on zirvak, then under rice, and nothing will happen to it. But try boiling dumplings in pilaf. Will you be able to do it? I can do it. But as for you, that's something to think about. I'm actually curious, did no one get bothered by the word garland when I said a garland of dolma hangs at the butcher's? Here's how it's made, the garland. The little dolmas are threaded onto a string and lowered into the pilaf like that. And then, when the pilaf is ready, all the dolma comes out of the pilaf at once. Convenient? Convenient. That's how you should do it. It seems logical to put the karma into the cauldron. Here there's fat here, and usually pilaf starts with the meat, but no, with us it's the other way. The meat here is already cooked. Why fry it? Why stew it again together with the zirvak? Kaurma pilaf with kaurma is prepared completely differently. First of all, there's only about 150 grams of fat here, but there's a whole kilogram of excellent rice which will absorb 350 to 400 grams of fat or oil, whatever you're using. That's why we pour in 150 grams of vegetable oil, in which we fry the onion. Do you want to get a delicious aromatic pilaf with that real Uzbek flavor? Fry the onions until they reach this color. You see? Here it is, from red to brown. And now the carrots, well, you can start with the yellow ones or mix them, right? Add it all at once. Stop listening to those claims that carrots should only be yellow. Listen, from 1962 to 2006, I lived in Uzbekistan. And I saw what kind of carrots they use to make pilaf. They use whatever is available, whatever is cheaper. But I advise you to choose the ones that taste better. Oil, onion, carrot, and cumin are the foundation of the flavor in Uzbek pilaf. It's not the meat at all. You could pour water in here, add rice, cook it with your eyes closed, just tasting the rice. Hardly anyone would say that this pilaf was made without meat. And after all, Uzbeks haven't always lived in wealth. And even now, many people still live, let's say, quite modestly. What did you do when there was no meat? How did you make pilaf? Well, there are chickens running around the yard. You'd gather 5, 6, maybe 10 eggs. First, you boil the eggs. By the way, you don't have to boil them until they're completely hard. You can leave them a little soft inside. Fry the eggs together with the carrots. You'll get an amazing flavor, and you won't even recognize these boiled eggs. It seems like they're already boiled. Well, go ahead, take a look and eat. But try frying them with carrots, make pilaf with them. You'll be surprised, I promise you. Tell me, have you ever eaten boiled eggs without salt? That's not tasty. And our kurma is only lightly salted, which means it won't overpower the other flavors in the dish. So add a tablespoon and mix everything together thoroughly. Take a moment to look at the eggs. Now they're starting to change color as they cook, gradually taking on the vibrant orange hue from the carrots and slowly absorbing all that delicious flavor. Some of the eggs might be gently lying on one side at the bottom of the cauldron or pressed against its wall. That way, as they cook, they'll get nicely browned and become especially delicious and wonderfully flavorful. But now, basically, the carrots are already done. The kurma is ready too. We heated it up in the microwave. If you don't have a microwave, you can use hot water. Just put the jar or pot in it. Whatever you keep in the kurma in, it doesn't matter. It's not important. To make washing the jar easier, use boiling water. And on top, we'll lay these out. The dolma necklaces. We won't be making zervak. The meat is ready. The rice will cook for about 20 more minutes, and then I'll keep the pilaf covered for 40 minutes. In an hour, the dolma will be perfectly cooked, and the meat will be done too. Everything will be cooked properly, and the carrots will be ready. Everything will be ready. Take a look at the washed rice. See, that powder has been washed off. Its coating was ruby colored. Some grains still have those ruby streaks, and the coating has rubbed off into powder. That's not brick dust. I'm tired of reading nonsense where people say that everywhere they sell rice with brick dust. Nowhere do they sell rice with brick dust. You won't find any with brick dust. And as for white rice that has a white powder, what do you think they rubbed it with lime or chalk? Oh, for heaven's sake! People are so distrustful, always thinking they're being deceived everywhere, huh? How can you make it without zervak? In modern Uzbekistan, I honestly haven't seen anyone cook it like this. Without zervak, just pure kurma plov. But in old books, this recipe is written down, it's described there, but people are starting to forget it. Let me remind you, kurma plov is made purely with fried ingredients and water is added right away. It cooks a little faster, but it's harder to make than with zervak. Maybe that's the secret to why it's so rarely made, but it ultimately results in a much thicker, richer, and more flavorful plov with a completely new and distinctive flavor profile. I know this particular type of rice absorbs quite a lot of water, and I never make plov where the rice ends up, well, basically raw or undercooked. People often talk about al dente rice, but just look at how incredibly fluffy, light, and tender mine is. It really makes a noticeable difference, honestly. Forget about fluffing the soak the rice in something delicious. Right now, the flavors are rising up from the meat and the carrots. See this yellow, beautifully colored, lovely fat. This fat is about to coat the rice, and the dolma will add its tangy flavor. The rice needs to absorb all of this. It should soak up all these flavors fully, then the rice will be delicious. Sure, you can cook it in water and it will taste good, but that's not pilaf. That's not pilaf. Notice that I haven't really turned up the heat under the cauldron too much. Here it boils slightly. The rice cooks, and that's fine. That's enough. What do the words "the rice is cooking" mean? The rice is cooking. The rice is being prepared in the presence of water and at the high temperature. If there's no water, you can put it in the oven, in the stove. Keep it there for 5 hours if you want. The rice will still remain rice. Well, maybe it'll get a little fried, become a bit crunchier. The rice is just right. There's still a little water left at the bottom, so it'll finish cooking perfectly. We carefully cover it and wait for 40 minutes. At this point, it looks like the pilaf is completely ready. And now you need to be careful, very careful when taking out the garlands with the dolma. And then mix the pilaf. But you know what? These days, whether you're in Tashkent, Fergana, or anywhere else in Uzbekistan, when pilaf is served to honored guests, the dish won't just have rice and meat. They'll definitely add something else as well. Well, dolma, of course, goes without saying. But there will definitely be additional decorations, for example, sliced eggs. And also kezi. 2 or 3 decades ago, kezi was considered quite an exotic treat. But now, pilaf just isn't pilaf without it. These days, it's considered good form when you can't even see the rice under all the garnishes. And right here, I have something that would delight any Uzbek gourmet. This is a fatel casing. All the hair was removed from the skin. It was carefully scraped, seasoned, stuffed with rather fatty meat, and then boiled. Ah, it's warm inside, but that's all right. It still looks very appetizing and it tastes simply wonderful. In Uzbek, the fatel casing is called postumba. So now, when you travel to Uzbekistan, don't just ask for plov with dolma and postumba. Well, that's all. You can hardly see the rice. This is ministerial plov, just the way it should be. All that's left for me is to wish you a good appetite and to report that the book Казан Мангал in this edition is already sold out. But soon there will be a new edition with a new cover and updated content inside. There are just a few copies left, literally about 10 of the first edition, Plov Culinary Research. But very soon you can look forward to Planet Plov, a new culinary study, 240 out of 440 pages. New ones. Order on the website Stalev.ru, or you can buy it on Ozon, Wildberries, wherever is convenient for you. Wishing you success in your culinary endeavors, dear friends.